Hey church, I'm so glad to be with you today. Today I thought I would continue along in the book of James. Last time I did James chapter 1, and today I'm doing James chapter 2. This is a book that I'm going through with the teenagers on Wednesday nights as well. But in James chapter 2, it's very simple. It's very simple, but not easy to do in all circumstances. And the first half of the chapter talks about the sin of partiality. And when the example that they give is when you see the poor person coming to church, you're like, well, you can go sit over there and you'll be good. And then when the rich person comes in the door at the church, they're like, oh, come and sit with me. And everybody wants to be friends with the rich guy, but nobody wants to give the time of the day to the poor person. They just kind of forget about him, and it's being partial. That's the whole point. But he transitions from that example into a discussion of faith and works. And it says this in verse 14. It says, "What use is it, my brethren, if someone says he has faith, but he has no works? Can that faith save him? If a brother or sister is without clothing and in need of daily food, and one of you says to them, 'Go in peace and be warmed and be filled,' and yet you do not give them what is necessary for their body, what use is that? Even so, faith, if it has no works, is dead, being by itself." This is a cornerstone for Christian living, as I think I mentioned last time, that the book of James is really it seems like a very nice handbook of this is what you should behave like if you're a Christian. And James is saying here that if you claim to have this faith in Jesus Christ, that you are a believer, that there need to be some works that go along with your faith. You can't just say, I believe in Jesus. Later on, he actually says, he's talking about that you say that you believe this and you believe that, and then it says, you do well, the demons also believe and shudder. So the faith, the knowledge that God is God, that Jesus is not enough in itself as an evidence of your true believership. The demons know that God is God, and they know that Jesus is Jesus. Our faith requires works to be alive. It doesn't require works for salvation. That's not what we're talking about here. We're not talking about works-based faith where you must do certain things in order to be saved and go to heaven with Jesus. We're talking about when you become saved, you will have a desire to do things that the Lord wants you to do. And that kind of ties back into last week where we talked about being doers of the word. And when you are a Christian, when you have that faith and it's living inside of you, you want to be a doer of the word. You want to do the things that God has commanded us to do. And namely, at the end of that chapter, care for widows, orphans, and to be unstained by the world. But I would just encourage you this week, as you think about your faith, and you pray that you ask God to give you opportunities to display your faith through works of some kind, that God would give you an opportunity to serve Him this week, today, whatever that case may be. And I pray that you would just use that opportunity for His glory and so that others might come to know Him through you. Thanks for joining me. I hope to see you guys next time. I hope everything's going well.